Well, good afternoon, First Baptist Carlsbad family. Pastor Howell here. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2020. Daily word of encouragement. I hope you're having a great week. Middle of the week as we move forward with lots of reopenings around our state. One of the places is going to be reopened and actually has lasted since Monday is barbershops, salons, beauty parlors. I'm looking forward to getting a haircut this week. I know others are as well. You know, that kind of is something that we took for granted, and something even in this past week is somewhat of a minor importance compared to all the things that are going on in our country, or perhaps even going on in your life, maybe in your family life, maybe with your marriage, maybe with your kids, whether they're still at home or maybe they're out of the home, maybe with your finances. If you've been struggling these last couple months, maybe out of work because of COVID-19, all kinds of different things that affect us, not only individually as families, as a church, but as a community, a nation, and ultimately as a world. And one of the things that we do on Wednesday nights is Bible study and prayer time. We've been doing that through Zoom for the last 2 months or so, just until right after everything began to shut down, and we kind of started back with Zoom Bible studies. Tonight will be the last time that we're going to do that with Zoom for a Wednesday night Bible study. I'm excited to announce that next Wednesday we're going to start back with on-site Bible study prayer time. This Sunday we're actually going to start back with Sunday evening Bible study at 6 o'clock. Tonight's going to be 6:15. We've got our first deacons meeting since March that's going to be on-site, so excited about that. Looking forward to some normalcy. But even in the midst of normalcy, of course, we can't help but look around and see what is happening in our nation today and over these last several days, going back to last week. And all that the sadness that has occurred, not only with the death of George Floyd last Monday, but all of the things that have taken place since then, including peaceful riots that have ended up being hijacked for other purposes, and the violence and mayhem that has occurred. And as we look at that, whether it's in our nation or maybe things that you're struggling with in your own family, it's easy to forget that the weapons that we have for the spiritual warfare that we're seeing all around us, and make no mistake, what we see outwardly really is a spiritual battle as believers, particularly those who trust the Bible, God's Word, as an inerrant, infallible, God-breathed. We understand that we are in the midst of a spiritual battle. That it plays itself out with flesh and blood. But we must never forget that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal or not fleshly. The Apostle Paul reminds us of that in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, beginning in verse 3, when he writes, "For although we live in the flesh, we do not wage war according to the flesh. Since the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but are powerful through God for the demolition of strongholds." Let me repeat that. Our weapons are not of the flesh, but are powerful through God for the demolition of strongholds. We demolish arguments and every proud thing that is raised up against the knowledge of God, and we take every thought captive to obey Christ, and are ready to punish any disobedience once your obedience is complete. Folks, we have a far more powerful spiritual weapon, and that begins with prayer, and that begins with God's Word. And so I would encourage you, whatever stronghold that you might be up against, maybe in your own family, maybe where you work, maybe with your finances, or even as a nation, as we look at how to heal what is broken, we ultimately go back to prayer and to God's Word. And it is powerful, as God's Word reminds us, for demolishing strongholds that we find in our life. And so we're going to pray tonight for our country. I would encourage you to continue to pray for our nation, for our nation's leader, for our state, and our state leaders, for our communities and our community leaders in these days ahead. And do not neglect the most powerful weapon in our arsenal, and that is prayer itself. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed, safe rest of your day in the Lord, and we'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. God bless.